Hey everyone, good morning and welcome to your channel Learn Data Science with Pranjal. So from now onwards, I would be starting with a series of knowledge videos on the deep learning, or you can say neural network, or the artificial neural network. So almost 1 year back when I started this channel, so from the same time, people have been asking to put the videos on the neural network. But now I have decided to put the videos on the neural networks. And neural networks, since being a very vast topic, it was really difficult for me to think how to put these knowledge videos. So initially I thought, let me put a very large video, a big video of around 7 to 8 hours or probably 10 to 12 hours, which covers almost all the topics of neural network. But then I have decided to break that big and complicated neural network into a series of small videos so that people can learn the topic which they are interested in. So from going forward, every day or almost every alternate day, I would be putting a video on the neural networks. But one thing being assured, that if a person watches all these knowledge videos, and so at the end he would be quite comfortable with all the complicated concepts of the neural network, and he would be getting almost all the knowledge of the coding portion also. So let's get started with our neural networks. So instead of starting with the definitions and the theory of neural network, let me first pose a simple question. So over here you can see two cartoon images. One is of male candidate and another one is of female. So can you tell which one is male and which one is female? So my question may seem to be very obvious. Or why this simple question? But just try answering this question: which one is male and which one is female? So take 2 seconds and probably try answering it. So I know that everyone would have taken the female one as the male and the right one as your male. So everyone has given the right answer, which one is female and which one is male. But then if I change my question and if I ask, why did you call someone as female and why did you call someone as male? So can you give me some mathematical answer that why a particular person you are calling as a male and why a particular person as a female? Then probably you cannot answer this question. You may say that their eyes are different, but then what exactly the difference is? You may say their eyebrows are different, but then what exactly the difference in eyebrows is? Someone may say, okay, the chins are different, the shape of the chin is different. The boy has a sharp chin and the female has a broader chin. But then how much broad and how much sharp? If you look mathematically, then probably both the faces are same. They both have two eyes, they both have two eyebrows, they both have lips, they both have nose, they both have ears. Then what exactly the difference is? So everyone gave the right answer, which photograph is female, which photograph is a male. But then you are not able to give me the exact reason why you gave me the right answer. But keep one thing in mind, that neural network will also work on the same concept. So neural network mimics the human brain. And why did we give the right answer? The answer is, from our childhood we have been seeing male and female, and our brain, or you can say our system, has been trained to recognize them. So even without measuring the angles, or even without measuring how sharp the chin is or how broad the eyebrows are or how the eyes actually look like, we can still give the right answer because our brain has already been trained. So in machine learning, we need to keep one more thing in mind, that there are certain set of problems where machine have advantage, and there's a certain set of problems where human beings have advantage. So for example, let's say if you want to do a heavy calculation, then obviously machine or the software will have advantage. But if you want to do a facial recognition, obviously human beings have the advantage. If you want to do the voice recognition, obviously human beings have the advantage. So neural networks come into those places where human beings have advantage. And that is why neural networks have been designed in such a way that they mimic the human brain and they can perform those complicated tasks where human beings had advantage and machine did not have advantage. So before the advent of neural networks, if the person had to do the facial recognition, then people used to sit and do the feature engineering. So by feature engineering, I will say that they used to measure the angle. So angle 1, angle 2, angle 4, they used to measure the angle. So the angles would be different for the males and it would be different for the females. And they used to create a data set where they had these features and they used to pass this data to the machine, and the machine started to do the facial recognition or used to solve the problems. But in neural networks, since the neural networks mimic the human brain, you need not do the feature engineering. So when I said need not do feature engineering, it means you need not measure the angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4. Why? Because when we learn which photograph is a male, which photograph is a female, we were never told that if the angle 1 is 30 degree, then it's a female, and if it's a 45 degree, then it's a male. How did we learn? We learn by seeing the multiple faces. How did we learn to differentiate between an image of a cat and an image of a dog? No one told me that if the mustache is big, then it's a cat. If it's a small, then it's a dog. We learn to differentiate between cat and dog by seeing multiple images of cat and dog from our childhood. And that is how we learn how to do the image classification. So the same concept would be used in our neural network or in deep neural network. In neural networks, we will not do feature engineering. We will give the raw data to our system, and as our human brain trains, similarly our neural networks will also train. We will run our model multiple times, we will show the images multiple times, and slowly but surely your model will start to learn and it can perform those complicated tasks which human brains are able to perform. So let's discuss this diagram. You might have seen this diagram earlier also. So the outer circle is of artificial intelligence, and within that artificial intelligence we have an inner circle, that is machine learning, and within the machine learning we have the innermost circle, that is our deep learning. So what till whatever we have learned till this point was already part of AI, because we are using machine and we are writing algorithms to solve our problem. So it is part of artificial intelligence. But what exactly is machine learning? In machine learning, all the things which we have learned till now, all the algorithms like your linear, logistic, decision tree, random forest, k-means, naive bayes, all those algorithms are part of machine learning. And then deep learning, obviously, we are going to learn from here onwards. So in deep learning, we would be seeing that basically there are three different algorithms we would be seeing. That is our MLP, multi-layer perceptron, CNN, convolutional neural networks. So when it comes to image classification or the image recognition, CNNs are the best. And then comes the RNN or the recurrent neural networks. When your data has a time component, then you use your recurrent neural networks. And now the question is, what is this blue space where I have written artificial intelligence? So what is this blue space? So this blue space is kind of your reinforcement learning or your Bellman equation, and which covers your policy plan state. So later on I'll put some videos on this reinforcement learning Bellman equation as well. And but remember that this reinforcement learning or the blue portion is exactly not of everyday use. So it is to be used only when you are doing a very high end work, something like, let's say you are trying to design a self-learning car or self-driving car, or you are trying to design a robot, then probably a Bellman equation may come into the picture. So now let's discuss few standard definitions. And remember one thing, that these definitions are not my definition. These are standard definitions taken from the standard websites. So deep learning, let me read it out. Deep learning is a specialized form of machine learning that uses supervised, unsupervised technique to learn the patterns from the data. It is similar to the structure and functioning of the human nervous system. So I have already told you that your deep learning or the neural networks mimic your human brain. Like in our brain, there are number of cells, or you can say thousands, or I'll not say thousand, but even millions and millions of neurons or cells are there. Similarly, in your neural networks, there would be number of cells or the neurons are there. So where a complex network of interconnected computation unit works in pattern to solve the process, the complex problem. So in our brain, there are thousands of neurons are there or millions of neurons are there, and each neuron does a very small amount of work. But when these neurons get interconnected, when they start connecting and they start passing output and start receiving input from each other, they can perform very complicated tasks. But keep one thing in mind, and from the example which we have taken of the male and female, we need to keep one thing in mind, that neural networks would be able to perform very complicated tasks, but then you cannot interpret the neural network. So when I said that you cannot interpret the neural network, it means that you cannot get to know if a decision was made, then why the decision was made. So if I said a particular photograph belongs to a male and particular to a female, my answer was right, but then I could not provide the reason. So similarly, the same problem would be your deep learning or the neural networks. You can perform very complicated tasks, but then you cannot say why the decision was taken. And this is basically one drawback, or you can say still an irony of neural networks or the deep neural networks. Though they have been designed by human beings, but human beings still cannot interpret the neural networks. Another thing to keep in mind is that using your neural network or deep neural network, you cannot perform the operations like a feature selection or feature importance. So remember, like in your decision tree, I can, or in random forest or in boosting, we can find that which feature was important. Or let's say if you are building the linear regression model, then you had an equation y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus beta 3 x3, so on and so forth. But in neural network, you will not be having those kind of things. So you cannot find the relationship of x and y. What is the exact relationship between your x and y? You may be able to get a model which is highly accurate, model as accurate as 99% or 100%, but then you cannot still interpret your model that what exactly is the relationship between x and y. Because over here we would be using the concepts of weights and bias. Okay, let's move to the next small definition. Again, this definition is not mine, it is taken from the standard websites. So ANN, artificial neural network. So ANN is a computing system made by a number of simple, highly interconnected processing elements which process information by their dynamic state response to external input. So after reading this line, probably the people who are doing neural network for the first time may not understand anything. But actually, if you read it once more, the definition is very simple. ANN is a computing system made up of number of highly simple interconnected processing element. So what is highly interconnected processing element? These is nothing but your cells or neurons in your brain. So each neuron in itself is a very simple unit. But when they connect, they can perform very complicated tasks. And then we are saying which processes information by their dynamic state response to the external input. So let's say you are doing a big calculation. So your one cell may be doing a small part of the calculation, another may be doing a small part, and when they combine, they perform a very complicated task. So let's discuss the last topic of this knowledge video. So advantage of neural network and drawbacks of the neural network. So when we'll do the coding probably and we will do more theory, you will realize these things, but let's quickly discuss them. And probably if you're going for any interview or discussion kind of thing, try remembering these points because whenever you are building any neural network model, you need to keep one thing in mind, the drawbacks of the neural network and the advantage of the neural network. So neural networks should not always be used. They should only be used when you think that normal algorithms are not able to give you the proper answers. Then only they should be used. And they should be used only in those places where you think human beings would be having the more advantage compared to your machines. So let's quickly discuss the advantages and drawbacks of the neural networks. So the first thing, the advantage of neural network, it is used in NLP, image recognition, computer vision, so which we have already discussed those things. Where human beings have advantage, there only probably the neural networks have to be used. But then what is the drawback? High memory intensive operation, computational and time demanding. So when we'll do the coding, probably you'll realize that your model may run for hours also. So high memory intensive operation, it takes huge amount of GPU or CPU. Very general and adaptive. So very general and adaptive. And the second thing is can work on raw data. So let's combine both of them. So which also means that you need not do any feature engineering. So you need not do any feature engineering, something like that. You need not measure these angles. You just pass the photographs and it can extract the important patterns and it can do the prediction for you. You need not do the feature engineering. So that's what it means, that it can directly work on the raw data. And then comes tuning of hyperparameter is a very tricky task. So Now, what is hyperparameter? We already know that hyperparameter is a parameter which is not part of the data and user can control it. So, for example, let's say if I take one example, if you are building random forest, so number of trees in random forest is a hyperparameter. Depth of the tree is a hyperparameter. Minimum sample split is a hyperparameter. Number of clusters in k-means is a hyperparameter, which user can control it. So similarly, in neural network, you will see that the number of hyperparameters can be in thousands and thousands. So which set of combinations of hyperparameters can give me better result? It is very tricky task, and this is one of the major disadvantage of the neural networks. And later on, we'll see what different hyperparameters can be. And the third point, it is kind of gray box, which we have already discussed, difficult to understand how the decision was arrived. So keep one thing in mind. For the similarity, I'll take one example. Let's say you are building a linear regression and you have y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1. So now once you know the beta naught and beta 1 value, you know the relationship between your y and your x. So when I give the value of x, I get the value of y. But now let's suppose that you do not have the privilege of this equation. You do not have this equation, y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1. But still you are able to do the right prediction. So you may be able to do the right prediction, but then you cannot gauge the importance or the effect of x on your y. So that's a kind of gray box that you get the good result, but then you cannot interpret why the result or the decision was made. Why? Because you cannot understand the human brain. So when you are doing some calculation, you cannot tell that which cell of your brain did what calculation. So this brings us to the end of this knowledge video, and I hope people have enjoyed the video, and probably they would have got the introductory feel of the neural networks. In the comment section, please do let me know any changes which you suggest for the coming videos. So very soon I would be posting, very soon as in within a day or two, I would be posting another video on the neural network in continuation of the topics. So if you have actually enjoyed the video, please go ahead and click on the like button. Thank you everyone for watching the video. Hope to see you soon in my next video, and till that time, happy learning. Thank you.